Hi, how are you? Wait, let me check if I'm live already. That's the problem with going live over here because on the screen it says I'm live, but it will take a few seconds for this to reflect on my feed. How's your week? How's your weekend so far? Yes, I'm seeing myself going live here. All right. All right. Um, okay, now welcome back to my weekly live session where I answer questions about meta advertising, Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising. So here's how it works, right? If you have any questions regarding Facebook advertising, meta advertising, even digital marketing at large, first thing I would like to recommend is to go to my YouTube channel. I have posted over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. Try to search for an answer if you have a question. Chances are I've probably covered something similar to the challenge that you're facing right now because I've posted over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. You probably can find something there. But if you can't find an answer to that, well, don't worry. All you need to do is just to post your question as a comment on any of my YouTube videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on the following Sunday. I will screenshot your question and I would actually answer your question live over here on following Sunday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So you can join me live on the following Sunday to listen to my answers, or you can watch the replay, okay, to get my answer. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, just in case this is the first time you see me, my name is Jason. I'm a Meta Ads optimization strategist from Malaysia. So over the past many years, I work with thousands of Meta advertisers, Facebook advertisers, Instagram advertisers, mainly to take your campaign to the next level. So say, for example, if you've been running ads, but you can't seem to find stability in your campaign, what I would work with you, how I can work with you is we would dive into your campaign and try to find out what's working and what's not working. And then after that, we will build a plan on how we can take the campaign to the next levels to stabilize the campaign, to tweak the campaign structure, whatever that has to be done, right? So that's for that. But if you are, on the other hand, you've been doing well on meta advertising and you want to take it to the next level, meaning you want to scale, meaning say you're spending about like $100, $200 a day. Now you want to push it to $500, even $1,000. That takes a bit of understanding how the system works and how the mechanism work, because eventually, as you probably have tried it, if you spend 100, now you double down to 200, eventually everything is going to break. I would say 95% of time it's going to break. Why? Because you stir up the algorithm and it's kind of like it might learn into the wrong direction, which is why a lot of people can't seem to find success when they are trying to scale. So for in my opinion, okay, we don't usually scale a campaign that is not optimized, meaning if you're doing well, we need to find out what's working in your campaign, and we want to find out if there is any leakages in your campaign. We can fix it first before we push the budget, because in fact, if you've been doing well, chances are you might be getting better result if we tweak the right thing. Here's what I've been talking about, right? Where we talk about optimization is we can actually tweak and hopefully achieve better result with the same amount that you're spending. So that's the first step before we start pushing the budget. Otherwise, it's all guesswork. So that's what I've been advocating. We don't want to run ads with gut feeling. We want to really know what's working and what's not working and make the right decision when it comes to optimization. So if that's something that you're looking for, find the link in my description or even the link in the video down here everywhere, and let's have a quick discussion and see how we can actually work together on that. But nonetheless, let me bring this back up. This session is called Ask Jason Anything About Facebook Ads. We go live every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So I'm going to go straight into the first thing. So this is where we answer questions. But just in case you say, Jason, I don't want to go public, is that possible that I can have a one-on-one session with you? Yes, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to my Fiverr gig where you can pay for a 30-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me where we can go through all the things that has to be discussed. Okay, we can look at your campaign structure to try to find flaws in it and try to fix it, and to analyze your campaign, anything, anything that is meta advertising related. You can scan this QR code, then I look forward to work with you. Now, just in case you're not sure and you're trying to start running ads on your own and you want to learn from a more structured way to run Facebook ads, I would recommend my Facebook Ads Masterclass. Now, this is the 2.5 hour recorded training where I outline 5 main elements that you need to know about Facebook advertising to help you jumpstart your, advertising game. First, I talk about the structure and the campaign strategy that I use and how to set it up with step-by-step walkthrough, which I call it the 2-step funnel framework. So yeah, the whole program, the whole masterclass is a walkthrough masterclass whereby I will walk you through every single steps in the ads manager and everything. So you're gonna learn everything. But we always want to start with the right structure, understanding how to distribute the budget. How do we, do messaging distribution, as in like what should we use for top of funnel? What should we use for retargeting and stuff like that? So as we move along, we will talk about the second portion, which we talk about the objective selection. I always advocate that you have to choose the right objective to reach the right people, not the other way around. So yeah, so that's really important. So you need to know what are the options you have, what should you use, what should you not use, so that you won't be wasting money on the things that you don't want. Then followed by the audience targeting technique. I've been using some signature audience targeting techniques that is still useful until today. So I will share with you those techniques so that you can actually hopefully get to reach the audience that you really want. So that's important. And the fourth thing actually is about audience. It's an ad creative and copywriting. Now let me be upfront. I'm not an expert in ads design and copywriting, but I've worked with clients from all around the world. I've seen what worked and what didn't firsthand. So I'm going to share with you what worked for my client and what didn't work for my client, so that you can actually avoid making the same mistakes that we did, right? So that's that. And the fifth part, which is the most important part in my opinion, is about analytics. You see, everybody can start running ads on Facebook with your Facebook profile or Instagram profile, plop, a few buttons, then you're already starting to spend money and start to get attention in. But then the problem here is, how do we know if the campaign is working or not? So I always believe every advertiser must learn how to analyze and optimize. So that's the last module in this Facebook Ads Masterclass. I will tell you what are the metrics that matters and how should you interpret them and how should we make decision based on the combination of numbers that we get from the numbers. So that's something that I always believe advertisers must learn. So that combined makes the Facebook Ads Masterclass. So scan this QR code, you can actually purchase and you can start learning right away. It's a recorded training and you always get the latest version of it, which means every now and then when there are certain like major updates in Ads Manager and stuff, I will be doing a new version of it and you always get the latest version. So that's how it works, right? Scan this QR code and yep, happy learning. Now, I do get requests from my community asking, Jason, I've done learning. I've sent my people to learn, and somehow or other, we still can't seem to find the right combination here and there. Is it possible that you come in and design the strategy for us and put it up for us? The answer is yes, but I only take less than a handful of clients every month. So yeah, so this is what we do. Scan this QR code, it will take you to my Fiverr gig. We'll have 2 calls in this. The first call is where I will come in and I will understand your KPI, understand your goal of advertising. And from there, I would draw a plan for you. Like I would tell you that what are the messages we should be using for the top of funnel. Let's try to create certain images or creative and stuff like that, and the copywriting as well. And let's say we work on let's say if you're planning to spend $100 a day, how do we distribute the budget? How do we play around? How many ads we should be creating? And if you have a landing page involved, I will also go through your landing page to give you recommendations about what are the things that we should be looking into to make sure that, we get the things done right. So before we start, after the first call, you go and do whatever fixes and creations that you need. On the second call, I will be setting up the campaign as per the design strategy with you, for you, over a Zoom call. Everything will be recorded. Invite anyone that has to learn this and you'll get a recording. So consider this is gonna be your personalized training program for your team, so that you can use that to train your future team members. So it's awesome. So if that's what you want, scan this QR code and you can purchase the gig right away and we can start working together. So that's what we do. Now then, let's go to the first question. So the first question is coming from Christian. So this is actually on a video that talks about using one Facebook pixel for multiple websites. So, but Christian's question here is, what about for a med spa that offers a variety of services that don't really have much to do with each other? Like you have weight loss, facials, hormone therapy, Should a different pixel be used for each services in that case? Now, here's the bottom line, all right? Yes, you may be looking at these are the different things in order, but as long as, in my personal opinion, if you are using the same domain, use the same pixel, as simple as that. Do not complicate things. Let's say if you're doing like, awesomemetspa.com, if that's awesomemetspa.com, and then one pixel. So eventually you have awesomemetspa, okay, .com/weight loss. That is still under awesomemetspa.com, in my opinion. That should be the same pixel, in my opinion. Because eventually, yes, you may be talking about, these are for different services, but hey, here's what I think. If I'm in for weight loss, if you tell me that I also have facials, I may also want to look into that. But here's the thing, we want to, we want to make sure that everything is condensed into one pixel. So that's my personal recommendation. I would do it that way. But otherwise, let's say it's a totally different website. Say, for example, you have weight loss at weightloss.awesomemetspa.com, for example. That's a subdomain. Now, if you want to do on the subdomain level with different website, meaning let's say a.awesomemetspa.com has a website, b.awesomemetspa.com has another website, which they are not linked to each other. Technically, they are having a different web design and everything. It's a standalone site. For that, I agree that you have different pixel. You get what I mean? Yes, you may have a different pixel because technically, but in my opinion, my preferred way is still gather everyone within the same pixel because it's a lot easier for you to manage. Trust me, do not create multiple pixels just because you feel like it. You will not be able to delete pixels or data sets right now, they call it. And it's annoying when you have unused pixel. Let's put it this way. I have so many of them. I mean, not me, together with all my client stuffs and all that. So if you have OCD, you got to kill yourself for that. So don't, seriously. Okay, so in my opinion, let's try to make things simple. As long as it's the same domain, try to keep it. But you may, like what I mentioned, if that's a scenario that you have separate websites, go for it. But if you have different website, okay, let's say awesomeweightloss.com, awesomefacials.com, awesomemetspa.com, fine. Different website, go for different domain, go for different pixel. That's my recommendation. Okay, remember, you want to plan ahead. You don't want to do things just things that you may regret in the future. That's what I mean. So yeah, here's what I think it should be. But nonetheless, if you need help, if that answers the question of doesn't, if you want to have a deeper discussion to really, for me to look at your situation, to give you personalized recommendation about what should be done, how should you structure certain things, because it's not just about pixel, right? The next thing we talk about here is whether you have a different pages, and are you going to use different ad accounts? And are you going to have, let's say, if you have some e-commerce, do you want to connect to different catalogs and stuff like that? So it's a complicated situation when you are managing a business portfolio or a business manager. So that involves a little bit of structuring. So if you need that help, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to my Fiverr gig where you can purchase the gig and we can have a 30-minute Zoom call to, go through whatever discussions that we need to go through to make sure that you are starting on the right footing. So so that's for you. Now, the next question is coming from Roni. So Roni's question is about, you're trying to connect your business manager to someone else's ad account and they keep on getting unknown error empty responses. Do you know what does that mean? When you are trying to connect your business manager to someone else's ad account, they keep on getting, when you say they keep on getting, means you keep on getting that message when you request access, or your client keep on getting that error message. We need to understand, because, okay, here's how it works. If you want to connect your business manager to someone else's ad account, simple way is go to your business manager, under ad account, go for the second option. Request access. I think you're doing the right thing. So request access to an ad account. You key in the ad, the so-called the ad account ID, and that should do it. So eventually your client can get into their ad account settings. Inside there should be a notification saying that somebody is requesting access to that. Respond to that, approve that, everything should be fine. So that's the easiest way for you to get access to an ad account at the business manager level. So if you're seeing that message, my question is back to that, what are you seeing? Where are you seeing it? Are you seeing it on your side or are you seeing it on the client side? So we need to know what's really happening right here. Otherwise, the other way around here is to fix this problem, you get your client to create a business manager. That's the only way you can assign the ad account to a partner. So make sure the client has a business manager. If he has it or she has it, fine. Go into the business manager in under partners, okay, assign access to your business manager. So they will have to have your ad account, I mean the business manager ID. So they would actually put that in and they will assign the ad account under the partners level to you. So the other way around. All right. So if the client doesn't have a business manager, doesn't matter. You can get the client to create a business manager and claim the ad account into the business manager. Then the client will be able to assign the ad account to you under the business manager level, under the partners level, as per how I shared with you just now. So that's how we play with this. So I know when it comes to business manager or business portfolio, things can be really complicated. People may find it, oh, what am I looking at? It's so complex. And what am I doing? What should I do right now? So yes, I mean, I've helped a lot of people kind of like rearranging their business manager just to make sure that we have an optimized one. Are we having too many ad account? Are we connecting all these things correctly? Are we having enough meta data sets? Are we doing way too many data sets or pixels and all that? So if in case you need help connecting things and assets in the business manager level and whatnot, well, I can work with you one-on-one. Scan this QR code, go to my Fiverr gig, purchase the gig, then we can have a 30-minute discussion over Zoom call. Please be sure to be on the app, the native app on Zoom native app instead of the web version, because that will allow me to take over your screen. And it's a lot more effective and efficient when we need to navigate things on it. So yeah, so with that, we can actually have a discussion. So yep, so that's what I have. Thank you so much for popping by. Now, yeah, these questions I get a lot. I want to really go through these real quick. So a lot of people, when they run ads on Facebook, when they are seeing good result, they want to scale. They want to change the ad budget. How should they change? Now, here's how it works, right? Generally, when you're trying to increase, this is a very general discussion over here. If you try to increase your ad budget, say you are spending $50 a day, if you are trying to increase your ad budget, do not increase more than 30% because that would actually trigger everything to go back into learning. But you're only increasing by 20 to 30%. Try to be very careful. Then it's actually fine. So here's how it works. What we usually do, increase by 20 to 30%, then monitor a few important metrics. First, monitor the CPM. That's the most important thing you have to look, because when you are scaling and when you really mess up the algorithm, you will start seeing the fluctuation in the CPM. Meaning, let's say if your CPM is now at 5, suddenly it spikes to 10, then you know that it's not going anywhere right. Because when the CPM increased drastically, that means you're reaching lesser people. So let's say if you're spending $50 now and your CPM is 5, and when you push it to $100, your CPM become 10, that increment or in the budget is offset by the increase in CPM. You see what I mean? So with spending more, you are actually reaching the same amount of people. So that defeats the purpose. Yes, so that's the key. So the first thing we monitor is the CPM. Then we monitor the CTR. So when the CPM spikes, then we want to see if the CTR spike is fluctuating very drastically, because that probably will mean that we are already seeing some influx of the wrong audience into the whole campaign already. So that's something that we have to be very careful about. So yeah, that's the reason why I always do not recommend increasing the budget by doubling down. That's always the bad idea. But when you are increasing 20 to 30%, also we still want to monitor the CPM, CTR, and of course the overall results, right? Cost per result, are we increasing? Are we actually getting similar quantum of the cost per result as per the previous ads budget, and all these other things that we monitor? So I will always recommend every time we increase, observe for at least 3 to 7 days, ideally 7 days. Okay, but if you really need to have a fast increment and all that, you can actually go by 3 days, but I do not recommend that. So let's say, for example, I'm spending 5, let's say I want to push it to 200. How am I supposed to do that? Duplicate and have another ad set running at the different budget. The original one you can increase by 20 to 30%, but make sure that the original one is not being shaked up badly. You can duplicate and have another one. So you can actually duplicate another one at 100, and here we gradually increase from 50, 60, 20%, something like that. So you just gradually increase, because we want to make sure the original one is protected. And you can always have a new ad set. When you do that, when you have multiple ad sets going to the same audience, make sure you apply exclusion. That's the key. Okay. Now, on the other hand, people may be asking, what about decreasing the budget? Based on my experience, decreasing the budget doesn't affect. You can actually spend, let's say now $50, you want to drop it to 10, fine. It doesn't really affect much usually. But also, you can also observe. If you really drop it and you want to see the CPM and everything, we observe the similar metrics, but this time around, we want to see if that affects the whole learning. The reason why some of these people would decrease the budget is because when they are off season, let's say some of my clients who are selling lawnmowers in the United States, now they're entering, fall and going into the winter, there's no grass, lesser grass right now. So they don't really need the machine. So it's kind of like a low season for that particular business. So, but they will still need to keep the business running. So what they do is they decrease the budget to a bare minimum. They don't mind, but they just want to keep the whole momentum running because business still needs to run, right? So that's how we kind of do the increase and adjustment of budget according to that. But generally, this is how we would do it. But anyway, just in case you're actually doing it for a specific purpose, let's say if you're talking about, I want to doubling down, I want to increase the budget, and here's my opinion. Let's not scale before you know what's working. You know the mechanism. In my opinion, we do not scale an under-optimized campaign. Meaning we want to make sure that the campaign is optimized. Meaning if you're getting good result with your campaign right now, we want to know what's working and what's not working. Yes, you can still have a performing campaign, but there's certain things not being optimized. That means what? Let's say, for example, let's say you're spending $50 a day and your ROAS is about like at 4, let's say, for example. Meaning if every $50 you spend, you get about $200 back in revenue. Fine. That's pretty decent. But then again, when we go in, we might see something like, for example, the CTR is at 0.5. What does that mean? Our benchmark for CTR link click is 1%, but you are at 0.5, and yet you're getting that kind of result. So what I will do here, if we look at that as one of the possibility here, I would actually recommend that we start testing different creative and try to bring the CTR to higher. Let's say if you're able to push the CTR to 0.8, for example. What does that mean? That means you have a 60% increment in your CTR, meaning with the same amount that you're spending, you get 60% more clicks. Can you potentially get 60% more results, more purchase down the road with the same amount that you are spending? That's what I mean by optimization. That's why I always recommend before we scale, let's try to optimize it first. So if you want to know what's working and what's not working in your campaign, to really plan properly for your scaling activity, okay? Scan this QR code. It will take you to my Fiverr gig where you can book a 30-minute one-on-one Facebook ads audit by me, where I would actually do 3 things with you. 3. First, I will go into your ads manager. I will build a dashboard for you. Ad metrics that matters to your business, arrange in sequence, what we call the dashboard in your ads manager, saved it so that every time you can come back to it. So once we build that, I will analyze your metrics for you. And along the way, I will share with you why is this, what's the benchmark of this, how do we combine multiple metrics to make decision. So I will share with you how it's done so that you will be able to do it in the future. And while we are doing that, we are already building a plan. So let's say, for example, I start saying like, oh, the CTR is not really good, but yet you're getting that result. Let's test new creative. So I'll give you a recommendation based on my experience. You should consider testing images. For example, I would give you some of those recommendations. And then from there, we will build a plan. So let's say after the CTR is being fixed, the next thing is probably fixing the landing page because we are seeing very low conversion from landing page to add to cart. Let's start testing different things here and there. So that's what I mean by optimization. That's how I work with a lot of my clients in the long-term engagement. So yeah, they work with me because it's kind of like something that we want to do continuously to keep getting the campaign better and better over time, right? But I'm not asking you to commit into that. Let's have a 1 session first to give you whatever you need. And from there, if you like, we can actually do it more regularly. But otherwise, I'll make sure that you walk away with a plan. That's what I promise. Okay, so if that's what you want, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. All right, so I think that takes us to the end of this session. Okay, we don't have a lot of questions today, but it's good enough because really I love the meaningful discussion that we get over here. Keep your questions coming. Remember, if you have any Meta Ads related questions, go to my YouTube channel, try to search for an answer. Otherwise, post your question as a comment on any of my YouTube videos. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to answer your questions on the following Sunday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. With that, thank you so much for joining. Have an awesome week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Good night. Bye.